So when I hung up the phone, I told my wife, I said, guess what? And she said, what? I said, we're not homeless no more.
My name is Ralph Nace, and I am the Director of Special Projects and Operations at LIHI. I think it's one of the greatest organizations I've ever worked with, and it's always been my passion to work and help out the people in need in affordable housing and people who are suffering with chronic homelessness, and it's a great organization to work with.
Hi, I'm Sharon Lee, and I'm the Executive Director of the Low Income Housing Institute, or LIHI. Thank you so much for joining our annual gala. We are thrilled that we have wonderful auction items. You have an opportunity to contribute to the work that we do. And by the way, it is the holiday season taking off. So think of your family and friends that would really appreciate a wonderful gift.
Hi, I'm Karen DeLucas, and I am the architect for the Sandpoint Cottage community here. This is a development of 22 small cottages clustered around a couple courtyards of green space nestled into this remarkable site of Sandpoint at Magnuson Park.
We went from a negative relationship, argumentative, to instant happiness. And we couldn't be any happier when we got our key. The hardship that we've been going through was just horrible. But moving into this tiny town village, on the very first day we went in and we did our paperwork. And I told my wife, we concentrate on us. Let's move forward from here and never look back. And those are tears of happiness, tears of joy that we looked at that somebody had finally gave us a chance and they believed in us. And so by all means, we did not want to let them down. And we haven't. When they gave us chores, we went above and beyond. We didn't care what everybody's chores was. We just did what we wanted to do, and we did what was best for the village.
I think supporting the Tiny House Village program is a big thing. When we opened this one village where we had a community meeting and everyone in the community showed up in the community meeting, and they're just upset. They're upset about having a tiny house village in their area. But then after we opened, after about a month, these same people who were upset about having us there are the same people who goes there to the village and ask them what do they need. They're the ones who donate food and bring meals to everyone because they see that it's really helpful and it works.
These originally started with the concept of having students, pre-apprenticeship programs around Western Washington that were going to be building these out. We did have 6 of them built by students. I designed it so that there'd be basically 3 parts. We have the living room, kitchen, and bathroom as the one kind of main structure. Then we have a roof that is, it's all built off-site and in a modular construction. The roof has because we're 1.5, was able to have a loft space inside, and we have a bedroom off to the side, as well as a room-sized front porch. So all of these face onto a common walk area and a common courtyard. It was very important that you have kind of this transition of space from more public areas to more private. So there will eventually be a perennial border and landscaping, more trees and bushes to kind of bring it into the landscape of the community, as well as representative of what is around in Sandpoint and being in the park.
And that's the nice thing about the villages too, that, you know, from living on the streets and feeling that you are all alone there, and moving into the tiny houses, it provides a great sense of community, and people talk and they share the kitchen and they share the meals, and they have a lot of events and different activities around, and it brings people together, being able to live in the same village, and it creates that feeling of like I belong somewhere. They contribute to chores and cleaning and perimeter checks, and it gives them something to feel that, hey, I belong in this community too.
And about 2 months later, we finally get a phone call telling us that if we could come in on Wednesday, which was the very next day, to come and pick up our keys to the tiny town village. So when I hung up the phone, I told my wife, I said, guess what? And she said, what? I said, we're not homeless no more.
This year, you're helping to raise funds for two very important programs. The first is the Tiny House Village program. The second is supporting urban rest stops. Urban rest stops are hygiene centers for homeless people, and it includes laundry, showers, and restrooms for people living unsheltered, as well as, frankly, lots of people living in shelters don't have adequate hygiene facilities. So these two important priorities are where we need your help.
This past year, we opened Rosie's Village in the U District. We opened Friendship Heights Village in North Seattle and the South End Village in Rainier Beach area. So right now we have over 800 tiny houses that provide shelter to over 2,000 people annually. I remember this one person back in 2020. We were doing an outreach, and I met this guy who is living on the streets, and we offered tiny houses, and he was first hesitant about it. He feels like that this is the same thing as the congregate shelters, but he took it and he stayed in our tiny house village at Othello, and I continued to just monitor this person's status, and he later moved to one of our scattered sites. And then after that, after a couple of months, he moved to one of our buildings at Denny Park Apartments. And he continued to work with our case managers and the property manager at Denny Park, and now he bought a house. And so what he's doing now is that he is volunteering on every single work parties that we have, because he wants to give back. He's been on that same situation, from the streets to the village to a scattered site to apartment and now to owning a house, and now he wants to give back because he's been there before.
We're not animals, we're human beings, and we can't be treated like that. That was why I went to school, to find answers. And so as human beings, you know, we have choices that we can make, and a lot of us, you know, there's only two choices that we can make: the good choices and the bad choices. And a lot of us, I'm not any better than everybody else. I've lived my life making bad choices, and I know that part of life, living in the bad choice life, and I've seen the outcome of all the bad choices that I've made. And I've now turned my life around and made good choices. And there's a big difference there.